Welcome to another edition of Inside the Cardinal Playbook, presented by UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And Coach, we're coming off another conference game that we played last week. Again, we talked a little bit about that. And I have to start out with third down conversions. I was totally amazed. S&T's third down conversion rate. I had them at 13 for 17. You had them well over 67%. Mm-hmm. You're going to win a lot of football games if you convert on third down conversion with that high a rate.
Absolutely. You know, we were getting in the situations we want to get into. You want to get into third and medium, third and long situations, and we got into those, as you said. Your statistics 17 times or at least 15 times, I think, were third and 5+. And then it comes down to making a play on third down. And they got us a little bit early on some screens. And some different situational things, and we've got to be able to make those plays when they count, and did an extremely good job of playing first and second down most of the day.
That's to my point, Coach. I really thought that, and we talked game plan on Monday, and I really thought that we did what we were supposed to do, and I said that on the air. But the thing I did notice, let's face it, you guys were 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, and 3rd and 11, but they made a lot of great catches, a lot of great plays. Yeah, they gashed you a little bit with the screen twice.
Twice.
Okay, but that doesn't say anything for the other 12 times that they were in that situation. So you got to give them their players made plays at really key times in the ball game.
They've got a couple of guys on offense that have been doing it pretty good for several years now, and number 3, Smook, I don't remember what his last name is. He's known as Smook, I think, most of the way across the country these days.
He can go get him, I guarantee you that. He definitely could go get him.
He's playing some of the plays he made the other day. There's one where Jack's, we had some plans for him to kind of box and want him to go back to the basketball tournament, and we had Jack Bissonette playing man coverage on him. We're playing zone around him. And there's one time Jack's in great position, and it's a route across the middle, and the guy throws it, and Jack is in great position to intercept it, and goes to intercept it, and it's got position on the ball, and somehow number 3 comes down with it. And, credit to him. He made some, and he and a couple others made some really, really good plays.
I was getting ready to say, Hyman caught the ball in the back of the end zone, and Jack had him totally covered on that. He went up and one-handed that ball. He just snatched it right out of the air. It was a tremendous catch.
Yeah, I told our players after the game, a little bit, in jest a little bit, but some days I believe it. But, that black cloud that's hanging over us, I don't know if it's who's bringing it upon us, but we've got to outrun it. And, just some things like that happened in the game the other day. The fact that we had one fumble. We fumbled the ball one time, which they recovered. They fumbled the ball 4 times, and 3 of those times we had 4 guys around it. They had 1, and it just happened to roll back or bounce back or kick back to them 3 of those 4 times. And, it's how the ball bounces sometimes. And it didn't bounce in our favor again on Saturday, and those things are frustrating. What I will say for the kids and the players is, what you saw in the fourth quarter was them just continue to fight, and playing with.
They played hard for 4 quarters.
Playing with 4 to 5 defensive linemen. That's all we had on the bus on Saturday because of injury and some other things. We were really short at that position. Those guys they played every single snap, most of them, and they just kept going. And to still get that, and then got some stops late in the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter, stopped to start the series in the beginning of the second half, and offensively continuing to move the ball and getting some late scores. And, it's easy in those situations being down and having the wind in your face, literally, 25-mile-an-hour wind in your face, to lay down and want to go home. And we kept playing and did some really good things late, too, and in the end of the third quarter and going into the fourth, which was good to see. It wasn't an effort thing on Saturday as much as execution, and in giving that team credit. They're 6-1 for a reason, and they've gone out and beat some really good football teams, and they've got plenty of guys, especially on the offensive side of the ball, that can make a lot of plays, and they made some plays on defense as well. And so It's the way it went.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Even at a high level of high school football in this area that I'm very familiar with, you have to have 6, 7, 8 defensive linemen, and really in high school, if you got 6, in your case, probably 7.
Yeah.
And if you're going in there a little light and a load as far as your defensive line's concerned, it really does affect you in your rotations.
You can't rotate.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. You had no.
You're used to rotating usually. In our situation
absolutely.
Saturday, we couldn't rotate. We didn't, and they give those guys credit. Those 4 to 5 guys up front on the defensive line, they knew it going into it. That they look over there and there's nobody else. So, whether they were tired or not, or spin or not,
like Bullis
or
was
hurt
holding
or
his
not,
shoulder a couple times, but he knew that he had to keep
kept
rolling.
going, and they kept battling.
And he did.
I can't praise those guys enough, and those aren't the only guys. We've had other guys throughout the season in similar situations where they just knew, hey, there's nobody else. I can't be hurt. I can't get tired. I got to keep whatever the situation. I got to keep going, or because the team needs me to do this, and that's there's some bigger life lessons in some of those things, and
that's what it's
I got a lot of pride for guys like that, and a lot of our team has done some of those things throughout the course of either their career here or this season or whatever, and I'm proud of that.
Well, we'll come back and talk a little bit about the offense and the defense and especially teams in this second segment. This is Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City.
You've got a lot of 3rd and 3 calls in your playbook.
Right.
A lot of 3rd and 3. When you get to 3rd and 12, that's one of those things you do this.
I'm going to change the world. I've got computers, I've got financing, I've got clients. I've got a business plan. I have VC money. I've got a game-changing idea. I've given myself room to grow. We're dangerous. Very dangerous. This is only the beginning. I'm going to own the future. There's just one problem. I don't know how to print this.
Professional printing,
Help?
and everything else a small business needs, now at the UPS Store.
I love logistics.
Who's serving up a big breakfast this weekend?
On an endless buffet with a juicy steak.
Don't flip out.
Only Golden Corral would include steak for breakfast. It's on our endless weekend breakfast buffet, all for a great low price. Only at Golden Corral.
Welcome back to our next segment of Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And, Coach, we're going to start out talking about the offense first. And I really feel like if we can get a little bit more running game established, you might take a little bit of pressure off your quarterback, and maybe you can do some things a little bit differently than what you've been doing in the past. I know you've had some down and distance that was pretty successful last week, but you might want to talk about the running game a little bit.
Yeah, I thought we did some good things in the run game, and our offensive line over the course of last week took a lot of pride in trying to be better there, and I thought as an offensive line we were a lot better on Saturday. We were more firm, a whole lot more firm protections. We had some more creases and some things in the run game. We were more firm there as well, and we had some running things early in the first half and had some success, and then had a couple negative plays and put ourselves in some down and distance situations, and didn't convert those at a rate that we felt like we should convert those. And in the second half we got going a little bit more with the run game later in the second half.
Very much so. The fourth quarter, we were really clicking because we were able to run the football. I think that's to my point.
Yeah, that you're exactly right. Now we were playing against some different dudes for them defensively than maybe what we were earlier in the game too. So all of those things help, but you still got to block, and you still got to find the crease and get vertical in it, and we did a whole lot better job of that on Saturday, definitely in some spots. We'd like to do that more, sure we would, absolutely. I think everybody, if anybody, any college football coach would tell you, even the guys that spread it out and throw it every play, hey, if we knew we could run it every single play and be very successful, why throw it? Old Woody Hayes, his old deal about
4 yards in cloud of dust.
Yeah, but there's 3 bad things that can happen.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, there's 3 things that can happen. Two of them are bad. So football from its beginnings is running the football, and we've got to continue to get better there, and take our opportunities when we get them.
Well, that's kind of a lead into my next point. You always are really gracious about sharing your game plan with me, and I'm always in advance, and it helps when you try to do what I do. And I thought we were in a lot of situations we just simply dropped the football. And I'm not being critical because, really, I've been the biggest advocate of your receivers all year.
Yeah,
I've been the top cheerleader. But black is black and white's white. We dropped the football on Saturday.
Yeah, in execution things, it really came down to this. It came down to third down and some second downs too on offense. But it came down to third down, and that's making a play that we should make or we've made in the past. And that was frustrating, for all of us. Whatever side of the ball you're on, whether it was defense on third down, whether it was offense, not making the plays in the passing game that we've made a lot of this year, and a lot of guys that have made a lot of plays. For whatever reason on Saturday, we didn't make those plays, especially early in the game in the first three quarters when we needed them to offset momentum or to keep driving the ball.
And we had people open.
We moved the ball really well.
Yeah, we had people open.
Yeah, and we did, and we had things in our hands, and we didn't finish those plays at a rate that we finished them in the past. And some guys, there's guys on our team right now that are frustrated as heck at themselves because, they couldn't figure out either why they weren't making those plays. And, did the wind affect some movement of the ball? Sure it did, but, they will tell you, as I sat in some of those meetings yesterday, that's a catch I got to make. You know how it is. You go in and grade players after each game on their effort and their execution, all those things. And you find this, I'm sure you've done this as well too, when you let the players grade themselves, they're going to be more critical of themselves than you ever are of them.
Several times.
We've done that with, Coach Majors did it with some of our offensive guys yesterday. I sat in the meeting and sat and listened and evaluated and watched how guys were reacting. And, there's guys that are being extremely critical of themselves, which tells me one thing: they care. And they're not pointing fingers. They're putting onus on the things that they think they could do better, and they're making, trying to make strides to fix those things. And knowing that you've done wrong is the start of fixing it, as we all know. And if you deny your mistakes, then you'll never outrun your mistakes. So, real
quickly on the offensive side too, one thing that we have been very good on this year is not getting penalized. Right. And you add the drops, and we've already talked about the third down conversions that we were faced, the difference in the two teams. But particularly like false start calls and stuff, really shot ourselves in the foot because we might be, for example, 3rd and 3. Now we're 3rd and 8.
Yep. Yeah, the negative plays beat you in this game. It's hard to overcome those things. 3rd and 3 is a whole lot different than 3rd and 8. Offensively or defensively, if you're 3rd and 3 on defense and you're in the neutral zone or you have a procedural penalty, that's a first down.
Right.
And that goes into the stat that you had about 3 of 17 or whatever it is. That counts one for the offense.
Sure.
And on the other side of
it's
it,
as bad as a turnover.
Yeah. If you're 3rd and 3 on offense, going for a 3-yard first down, and now you have a procedural penalty or holding or whatever, and it sets you back 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, your play call sheet becomes a whole lot smaller, and you know this because you've coached on every side of the ball. But you've got a lot of 3rd and 3 calls in your playbook.
Right.
A lot of 3rd and 3. When you get to 3rd and 12, 3rd and 9.
How about those 3rd and 35s?
Yeah, you're just that's one of those things you do this and just
okay, well.
Yeah, because you're counting on a lot of chance in those situations. There's not a lot of plays like that in the football that we know. We've got to be better in some of those areas. I talked about it kind of the start in the first segment about the black cloud. We haven't dropped that many balls all year as we dropped in one game.
Because the receivers have been our strength.
Yeah, and just little things that happen. And again, we're taking ownership in it, trust me. And I'm saying that a little bit in jest, but those things frustrate you when you can't figure out a reason, and it's not an effort thing, and that the desire's there and all of those things. And why does 4 of those fumbles, when they fumble it, that ball bounce back to them instead of bounce the other way? Even though we're populating the ball, how come we're not? So it's those things that frustrate you as a head coach, and a coach or a player or whoever, as you're trying to find the whys in why things happen. And sometimes they just happen because they're supposed to happen. And whatever that reason is, it is, and we got to keep rolling.
Well, Cardinal fans, I'm just going to kind of synopsis that by saying it's not an easy game. And I'll keep it that simple. We'll go to the next segment inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City.
I can't ask any more, of those guys than to give the effort and what they did on Saturday.
This is corporate headquarters. As you can see, I have a unique business. How do I compete with the big boys? Got this fancy business address, a marketing department, distribution center, got a great team, even a cafeteria.
That's mine.
From packing and shipping to printing and mailbox services, come into the UPS store for everything a small business needs.
I love logistics.
Sometimes happy marriages fall apart, and divorce is the only way out. At a time like this, you need an attorney who will listen to you and will work for you. I'm Stephanie Shutt, and I understand that divorce can be hard for anyone, and I know the importance of a fair settlement. The decisions that are made now will affect the future happiness and well-being of you and your family. At Costello and Farah, we will fight for you. Call or visit 505-HELP and let me help you.
Welcome back to the third segment of Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS, 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And we're going to talk a little bit about our defense. Again, I thought there was three guys that really played well from up in the press box during the game. I thought Josh Mathis did a great job inside. You were so short, lineman. I knew that going in. He knew that going in. And he really bowed up and played hard for 4 quarters as long as you had him in. And DeStefano, I'm telling you, Jimmy's improving.
Yeah.
And I've seen so much growth. I told Rick and the guys on the way home, I've seen a lot of improvement from the first game to now. And then Tally, who finally got a chance to play, I think he was a little tentative maybe early, but after that I thought he really started to get in the groove and make some plays.
Yeah, he'd been hurt for the last 3 weeks really, and haven't played in a game in almost a month. And it took him a little bit of time to get going on Saturday, but once he did, he kind of got back in the groove and got back to his old self again. He can really run, and and so those
are
good things. You mentioned Jimmy too. Jimmy's a redshirt freshman, hadn't played college football before, and
he's playing the quarterback position on the defense.
He is, and
stepping in.
He is. I'll tell you what, that guy works extremely hard at his craft. He comes in extra time and spends extra time with the coaches throughout the week because he wants to be really good. Mm-hmm. And he's doing some really good things right now.
Last 3 games, he's thrown up some good stats.
But you've got to understand the flow and the pace of the game at that position, be able to track the ball and do some different things, how we have him playing in the scheme and get guys lined up and some other stuff. And he gets better every week there. He'll continue to get better. The more plays he sees and the more plays he plays, Absolutely. He'll continue to get better. He's a redshirt freshman, right. And playing a very important position. And Josh Mathis, you mentioned him, Again, I talked about how proud I am of those guys up front, and just
they had their hands full.
And just what they did on Saturday. And unless you've played that position or been involved, pretty deeply in the game, you can't quite wrap your mind around.
Well, Coach, you can't compete in high school without 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, it was 75 plays defensively. I think we played, and those guys played every one of them, and that's 75. Boxing matches, 75 hand-to-hand combat battles, and you know how much one of those would take out of you.
Absolutely.
And one of those battles, and they just kept going out there and kept going and kept going. Did they get tired? Sure they did. And did their pad level suffer later in the game? Sure it did. But they were giving everything they could
sure
give.
Did.
And I can't ask any more, of those guys than to give the effort and the, what they did on Saturday. There's some other guys that continue to play well. Jack Bissonette continues to play well on defense. And, we gave him a tough task on Saturday, is to, in situations, line up over number 3, the best receiver in the conference, or one of the best receivers in the country, and help us limit him. And we did limit
Coach,
him on
there's
Saturday.
no question he's one of the best receivers in the country.
Yeah, he is. He's a good football player. We limited him from his average on Saturday. We didn't completely contain him, but we limited him from what he's been putting up a little bit on Saturday. And so that's a win there. And I could go down the line of guys that I think are giving good effort there on the defensive side of the ball. And again, it's a young group. But they're resilient and they just keep coming, and they know that they're getting better every week. And they played a really good offense on Saturday, maybe the best, or if not the best, one of the best in our conference, and putting up some really good numbers across the country right now. And playing against, we had, I'm trying to do the numbers here, we had 3 senior defensive linemen playing, and the rest on Saturday were a combination of 1 junior and 7 sophomores or freshmen against their 9 offensive seniors, 9 to 10 at times offensive seniors. And you know what? They stood in there and fought. And we had some good, again, first, second down, we played really well for most of the game. Third down, we've got to find a way to get off. And we did some. I don't want to put it out there like we never got off the field, but we've got to be better on third down in those situations. And whether you're a freshman or sophomore going up a senior, you got to make those plays, and we will. I'm not doubting our players whatsoever, because I see where they're going and I see the effort they're giving.
Well, hopefully we can talk a little bit about next week and our next week's opponent here on the last segment of Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City.
Our special teams were very good on Saturday, and that's really positive.
So, I'm my own man. I can work from home. I can make meetings, I can make deadlines, I can make proposals, I can remember birthdays, I can entertain clients, I can pay for lunch. Yeah, I can do it 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:15, I can do anything. Done, on it, yes, taken care of. 50 two-sided bound color presentations by tomorrow, I can do that. How do I do that? I love logistics.
Hi, this is Kurt with MetroFreeStuff.com, talking to you today about another one of our free features. One of our frees, a big free in 2012, is our free networking events that we're hosting for local community organizations and small businesses. Our free networking events are open to any local business owner or community organization leaders. Find us on Facebook. Let's make 2012 a great year. Come join us today. Visit www.metrofreestuff.com to find out more.
I'm Rick Cole of the William Jewell College Sports Network, here with Mary Beth Boone of Aunt Mary's Cookies.
We want you to come to the Jewell volleyball game on October 30th against Rockhurst, because it's Milk and Cookies Night with Aunt Mary's Cookies. Aunt Mary's will provide cookies and milk for your enjoyment that night. So come and visit us when William Jewell takes on Rockhurst. Aunt Mary's is located in North Kansas City. We have a full cafe and deli, as well as fresh baked goods daily.
And don't forget to join us October 30th at 7 p.m. as the Cardinals take on Rockhurst University in volleyball. We hope to see you there.
Welcome back to the last segment of Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by UPS 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. And Coach, we can't leave out specialty teams. I preach it every Saturday when I do your games. It's 1/3 of the game. You know what? And we had another really good showing on special teams on Saturday, I thought, in most every phase. That's as tough a special teams day as you're going to find. When the wind's blowing 25 mile an hour, like it was Saturday. When you're kicking into it, it's brutal. But even when it's going the other way, because just how the ball carries and some other things, and so you've got to be really on top of your special teams. And I thought we did a tremendous job. Our coverage units were really good. Punting into the wind wasn't very good. I mean, as far as yardage. Right. But what punt into the wind is going to be when you're punting into a 25 mile an hour? No, it was a schnook. Yeah, you've got to be able to. Right out of Wyoming mountains. Yeah, you've got to be able to switch the field and try and not have to punt into the wind any more than you have to. Yeah, but when you have to, you got to play that play. Right. And here's what I will say, and we've talked about it really in the other two schemes of the game on offense and defense, is that we're doing some good things on first and second down, third down conversions we've got to continue to work on. Special teams, it's a one-play set. And right now we're playing really good on one-play sets. When we've got one play to go play, one play in a row, our special teams were very good on Saturday. Right. And that's really positive. You watch some things on the growth of your team, and
you can start to see some things happen there, and those things transpire into other things and other phases of the game. But our athleticism, some of the other things that we're doing on special teams right now, we're doing really good because we're playing that one play set as hard as we can play it, as focused as we can play it.
I think that's a great approach too. Yeah. That you really get in the kid's mind that it's one play.
It's a one play. You don't get another opportunity there, and we've got to be able to build on those on offense and defense too. We're doing some good things in the course of a series. First, second down on defense, getting them into third and longs. Now we got to play third down and play better and more firm on third down. Offensively, we're getting into some short yardage situations, and even when we're not, we're giving ourselves opportunities in the passing game to have a play to make on third down, and we've got to make those plays more often than we did on Saturday.
Well, let's get into next week's opponent, which starts at 1 o'clock here at Jewel. We finally have a home game again. That's nice. We've been traveling all over the country, and we play St. Joe. St. Joe, we beat them last year real quickly because we don't have a lot of time. Yeah. Just give us a quick synopsis of what's up.
They're a young team, too. This will be the first time in a while that we're not playing a team that is lining up 8, 9 seniors on each side of the ball against us. And so they have some of the same growing pains that we do from that sense. They're a spread offense look. Defensively, the base 4-3, get into some 3-4 at times in different situations. But they're well coached. It's a good football team. We won, I want to say we won by 11 points or 13 points or something at their place last year.
11, I think.
Third to last game of the year. And it was a low-scoring game, 19-8. I can't remember exactly what the score was. But so it'll be a hard-fought battle again this week. And we've got to worry about us again, and we've got to worry about our execution and doing those things and making plays when we have those opportunities.
Well, hopefully everybody will come over to the Cork and Brew afterwards. It's been really a lot of fun, I think, for everybody, and it's kind of a place. And I'm glad that you and Rick basically have started this because I think the Cardinal fans need a place to go after the ball game, and I think you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been fun. Those things are always enjoyable. Like as we've talked about before, we're going to all get together. We're going to all talk about the game afterwards anyway. Players, coaches, fans, family, and we might as well be talking about it together. And so that's been a really good deal. And you guys and Rick and the folks, Jeff Woods and his people down there at the Cork and Brew have done a good job of setting up that environment and making it inviting and specials and some of the drink specials and some of that stuff that goes on. And, it's just fun. It's a fun environment. What I was really impressed about, on homecoming, we lose by 2 points or whatever it was late in the game. And you think people might not come, and you couldn't park within 5 blocks. And, there was 115, 100 or so people there, and that was a lot of fun. It's a good time.
Well, hopefully we'll see everybody after the ball game. We'll get quick reminder: don't forget St. Joe here at home at 1 o'clock again, and that's the last segment of today's Inside the Cardinal Playbook. Hope to see everybody at the game Saturday. We really want to thank UPS 5510 Northeast Antioch Road in North Kansas City. We'll see you Saturday 1 at the kickoff.